You're watching Color 10 News at 10 in high definition.
$10 million is the start of curing Springfield's lack of a medical school. Good evening, I'm Ashley Katz.
Hello once again, everybody. I'm David Oliver. Good to have you joining us here at 10. State lawmakers have approved this money, though the bill still needs approval from the governor. And tonight, new at 10, Justin Doherty shows the role Mercy and Cox would play in this program.
After exploring a medical school on their own, which would have cost about $1 billion, the two hospitals in town have joined with Mercer University for a medical school extension in Springfield. Columbia does not have the room for a full-size facility, and Mercy and Cox Health see this as the necessary first step for a much bigger plan.
A seed's been planted, and I think that seed, if it's nurtured and grows, might be the biggest economic impact to our region in decades.
The seed is a metaphor. 32 juniors and 32 seniors from the MU School of Medicine would relocate to Springfield for their final 2 years.
It's not an overwhelming number of students, so it's not like we're adding 500 students to the campus. Right. So it's a great first step as we look toward a full four-year medical school in Springfield someday.
For now, it's a satellite campus that would allow MU School of Medicine to expand its yearly acceptance from 96 to 128 students, an increase Cox Health President and CEO Mark Edwards thinks will have a lasting impact. And as Mercy Senior Vice President Michelle Schaefer calls it, homegrown.
University of Missouri has been known to, again, keep students in Missouri.
If those students don't get in, they go somewhere else and they leave the state. If they leave the state, they tend not to come back. Okay. So people practice where they trained, and so we want them to train here.
Now, if approved by the governor, the $10 million will help jumpstart the medical school here in Springfield, where students would do their clinicals at Mercy and Cox Hospital. But an additional $30 million will still need to be raised for the classrooms in Columbia.
They are at capacity for the number of students they can take.
Really not necessary for a building in Springfield because third and fourth year medical school students are in their clinical time, so they're spending their time in the hospital.
State bonds and outside donations will be needed to fund the new building in Columbia, as well as housing for students in Springfield.
So those dollars are still needed, but the operating dollars were critical to get us going on the faculty.
When asked if the hospitals are confident that Governor Nixon will approve the bill, both representatives say they feel positive about the pending decision. As for the timeline, hopes are classes will increase a few students over the next year and changes will take full effect by the fall 2015.
Thanks, Justin. The federal government says it has found the money to keep air traffic control towers open at smaller airports, and that includes the Branson Airport. Previously, the Federal Aviation Administration had said that it would shut down 149 towers due to federal budget cuts known as the sequester.
We all need more money tonight to pay for gas. Prices are up again today. Most stations in Springfield raised the price for a gallon of regular unleaded to $3.59. Now, the increase in the cost of oil is one reason why the experts say prices are up. Analysts also say suppliers are lower, in fact, because many refineries have been converting their operations to give us a summer blend gasoline. The forecast won't cost you a dime, though. Jamie Warner's tracking a very important weekend ahead. It's Mother's Day.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like we're going to find decent weather for Mother's Day weekend. Outside right now, certainly not feeling like summer's around the corner with temperatures cooling through the 50s. And it was kind of a cool day with afternoon highs only in the 60s. Right now, skies are clearing out. We've got this lingering batch of low cloudiness sort of focused along the I-44 corridor right along the Ozark Plateau here. Those clouds, though, will be clearing out shortly, and we will find temperatures responding. It looks like they'll be able to drop a little bit faster. They're already in the low to mid 50s, 55 in Rolla, Lake Ozark, 53 in Springfield, a bit warmer to the south, but not by much. And it looks like by morning, we're going to probably drop into the upper 40s to around 50. A lot of sun to start out today, but I think by noon to 1 o'clock, clouds will roll in, and it looks like probably 1 to 2, maybe 3, we'll have a shot at some light showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm as another front moves to the area. Sun will be back, though, I think, by late afternoon, and your Mother's Day forecast looking a bit cooler as a result of that front. A look at that coming up.
Thanks, Jamie. Now a Color 10 exclusive. The Secretary of the Army says an Army drawdown is not a choice, but communities in the Ozarks hope soldiers are not taken from Fort Leonard Wood. Color 10's Kevin Schwaller shared local concerns with Army Secretary John McHugh.
Everybody's worried about it. Recently, when customers sit in these chairs,
just worried about losing their jobs, and it's always a big threat here.
They have Fort Leonard Wood on the mind, and more hair on their heads.
You can tell when people are worried about their money, they don't spend near as much as they usually do, and people cut down even small things like haircuts.
Jeff Browning is part owner of Rippy's Barbershop within eyesight of the fort.
Oh, the cutbacks and stuff? Yeah.
He says cuts unrelated to a possible drawdown are already hitting customers like Terry Lindsay.
Moved because I was working on Fort Leonard Wood, and with the furlough going on, I was going to lose quite a bit of money.
Now the most drastic possible cuts under a drawdown leave the fort with nearly 4,000 fewer personnel.
I think if the fort draws down, it's gonna hurt this area.
And it's not just a barber shop outside the gate. Communities as far as Rolla and Lebanon are also raising concerns.
Are their voices making a difference in your mind?
Well, they had a terrific listening session here, about 1,200 people as I understand it, and the Army likes to be where we're liked.
Secretary of the Army John McHugh says the support isn't new information, and he says the Army has to make hard decisions under the Budget Control Act. Decisions that will focus primarily on brigade combat team.
But there will have to be some changes in the structure and the placement of the support activities and the enablers, which you do have activity here, of course.
We sure make this place a ghost town if we start sending our soldiers out and getting rid of all the jobs out on post.
With each job, another story or an empty chair at the barbershop off post.
McHugh says he spoke with Governor Jay Nixon last night, who says he was enormously supportive. McHugh also says leadership is looking to make a decision about this in the first part of next month.
An Ozarks landowner targets gun businesses tonight. John Negri of West Plains is offering his land rent-free for 20 years to any gun manufacturer, accessory maker, or distributor willing to relocate. Now, he feels everybody deserves to exercise their Second Amendment rights, but says many companies are often handicapped by what he calls lots of regulations and bans. That's why he wants to bring a business here to the Ozarks. He's working with radio host Michael Evans to spread the news about this offer.
There's just so many crazy things coming down that we're just going to show them we're not going to lay down and, lay dead.
More Americans should put their money where their mouth is.
By the way, Evans has received several calls from interested parties, and many manufacturing companies have already announced they plan to leave their current states due to the changing legislation. New at 10 tonight, Missouri ranks in the bottom half of states when it comes to bicycle friendliness. A new report by the League of American Bicyclists has Missouri at 30th. The rankings are based on bicycling laws, programs, and infrastructure like bike lanes, trails, and road shoulders.
Meeting your fitness goals is now a lot easier thanks to new apps for your smartphone. Tonight we find out how smartphones and social media are motivating people in the Ozarks to get fit.
3 days a week, you'll find Kirk Bowman hitting the trails in Springfield, and not far from him,
He says, hey, it's time to go for a run.
Kirk is training for his second marathon, but he hasn't always been a runner.
I just started the year before last and ran a 5K in May.
Instead of a personal trainer,
Been using apps like Runkeeper to track my progress.
Kirk logs his runs through the GPS on his iPhone, and he's not alone. A Pew Research study estimates 1 in 5 smartphone owners has at least one fitness app on their phone.
Their barriers get in the way, which might be time, money, knowledge, and what applications can do on your phone is give you over those barriers.
Gym Boss is a favorite of Andy Hayes. The fitness specialist recommends the interval timer if you're trying to cram in cardio on a lunch break.
It goes by so quick.
Think of it as a virtual journal.
That's a big part of exercise, is making sure you know where your progress is coming from.
Motivation is a big part of exercise, and these apps not only let you track your workout, but also share your progress with your friends on Facebook.
Whether it's just, keep going, Kirk, or you're doing a great job, or sometimes you just need a little extra positive reinforcement.
I have a few friends that I'm linked to in the UK, some in New England, some in Florida.
Andy and Kirk are part of the growing trend of fitness that is social and even a game.
I know a lot of people that might get their workout done in the AM, and then they see in the PM that their friend outdid them, then they might do a second workout. So they do 2 a days just to outdo their friends, and so they keep that competition.
An extra layer of accountability that helped Kirk drop 20 pounds.
It would have been a lot harder. I wouldn't have found the support that I did through social media. For me to pick something up like this and find a niche where other people are doing the same thing, it was a cool community to discover.
And best of all, most fitness applications have free versions. Another generation of apps is already in the works. Imagine turning this into a medical device like an EKG that could help you detect if someone's having a heart attack. Those, of course, would first need to be approved by the FDA.
Interesting perspective tonight, Ashley. Thanks so much for that. What was supposed to be a movie promotion ended with police rushing to a Missouri theater.
I spotted a man in full assault gear carrying what appeared to be a modified M4 and a 9mm on his side.
Everything points to bad things that are about to happen.
Tonight, what the theater manager had to say about the Iron Man stunt that backfired. And if you would like to follow Color 10 on Facebook, here's how to do it. Find that little Facebook icon. It's right there on ozarksfirst.com. When you get to our Facebook page, click the like button there too.
A Missouri movie theater manager does not regret a promotion that involved a fake gun and a man dressed in full tactical gear.
Yeah, this happened up in Jefferson City. The theater was trying to drum up some interest in Iron Man 3, but the scene reminded people of last year's movie theater massacre out in Aurora, Colorado. Here's what the theater manager had to say when asked about this promotion.
No regrets for allowing this publicity?
No, my job is to entertain people.
That's just unbelievable. It really is. It's unbelievable. The whole country is talking about gun control because of shootings at theaters and schools.
Now, several moviegoers there, because of this, called 911. Jefferson City police officers thought they were responding to an active shooter investigation.
New at 10, this is National Public Gardens Day. Some people took advantage by visiting the Springfield Botanical Garden. The goal of the day is to raise awareness about environmental stewardship and plant and water conservation. Millsap Farms is celebrating the start of gardening season. The night the public was invited to a potluck dinner. Families came to take a tour of the farms and also talk about agriculture. The farm's owner says it's a good time for people to take part in community gardening there.
I wonder if our gardens might get a little more moisture this weekend for Mother's Day. Jamie, what are you seeing in our forecast?
Maybe just a little bit, not very much. Really, the pattern that we've seen so far, I know it's been a cold and even a snowy one at times this spring. But there's good news when it comes to that, and that is reduction in the amount of severe weather that the United States has seen. A look at those numbers, a look at your Mother's Day weekend forecast, too, coming up.
And now weather with Color 10 News Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
Well, I know we've complained about the cold and the snow and the cold rain that we've seen really at many times this past spring, but that has actually been good news as far as the severe weather threat this past season. We really have not seen much in the way of severe weather across the nation. In fact, record low numbers of tornadoes over the last 12 months. May 2012 to April 2013, we've only had 197 EF1 or greater tornadoes. Of course, we show you that EF scale anytime there's a tornado and we talk about the wind speeds and such. This count of 197 EF1 or greater tornadoes is the lowest 12-month count going all the way back to 1954. And again, you can thank that cold pattern that we've been in for that. And May has started off basically in the same way that the last several months have been, and that is with basically quiet conditions. We had a little bit of severe weather here and there. In fact, today we've had a little bit of severe weather in parts of the country, one being down in Texas, another area that's had a little bit of severe weather's up here towards the northeast, but really not a whole lot out there. The big story for us going into this weekend will be cool temperatures, cooler than normal temperatures once again, although a lot warmer than last weekend. Let's be frank about that. Here's the next front. It's already on the map, making its way through Minnesota and South Dakota. This front will arrive here in the Ozarks tomorrow. And with it, because we haven't really been allowed to recharge the atmosphere with moisture, we're not going to find much in the way of activity. Clouds and maybe a few showers, and that should be it. In between these two fronts, the one that's already gone through and the one that's on the way, Right now we're finding clearing skies, and we're finding cool temperatures. It's dropping to the 50s right now. We're going to go into the upper 40s, I think, for lows. And with the clear and cool conditions and the moist soil conditions because of the rains from yesterday and last night, there will be the scenario where we could find some patchy fog to start off the day on Saturday. Otherwise, any low cloudiness or patchy fog that's out there tomorrow morning early on will mix out very quickly, and it looks like a fairly sunny morning on Saturday. But by noon, we're going to have that front racing southeast all the way down to about I-44 by noon tomorrow, and then that front will continue to sweep across the remainder of the area through the afternoon hours. In fact, it will clear all of the area by early evening on Saturday, and Saturday night will be clear. And it will be cold. I'll show you the temperatures here in a second. Here's a look at your Mother's Day forecast. It looks like we start off sunny, but during the afternoon with a disturbance heading our way, we'll likely see clouds increase from northwest to southeast, at least across areas along and west of Highway 65. I wouldn't really worry too much about rain, although I can't rule out maybe a sprinkle given this scenario. Temperatures tonight will drop into the upper 40s in a lot of spots. Tomorrow they'll warm up until the front arrives. Looks like that will be right around noon. 68 at near noon on Saturday. As that area of clouds and showers moves through the I-44 corridor, temperatures will likely drop into the low 60s, and then they'll bounce right back into the mid to upper 60s once the front heads south and skies clear out once again. And then overnight Saturday night, it will get cold across the region. In fact, it looks like upper 30s to low 40s, very common across the Ozarks. For Mother's Day, we should see temperatures warm into the low 60s for daytime highs and not getting as cold Sunday night. Tonight here in Springfield, about 49 for the low. Watch again for patchy areas of fog towards sunrise. Tomorrow we'll see a high up near 70 with temperatures then falling back into the mid-60s, I think, for much of the afternoon hours. Mother's Day, again, a cold start, cool finish with highs in the low to mid-60s. Monday, 75, so a quick rebound in those afternoon highs. And by Tuesday, we're up to 85, maybe even a little bit warmer than that in spots. And then we'll get into a pattern for the rest of that week where we have partly cloudy skies, a slight chance for a shower isolated thunderstorm, and warm conditions. Highs in the low 80s Wednesday and around 80 Thursday and Friday.
All in all, not too bad for all the moms out there. And we wish them a happy Mother's Day early, by the way.
Yeah,
Happy
it's a Mother's Day weekend, right?
That's right.
It is. They get 2 days.
All about
Or
mom.
3.
Or 3.
All right. Thanks, Jamie.
The Missouri State Bears snapped their 6-game losing skid.
Dan Busey's coming up with sports, and he will introduce you to some special mothers at Hammons Field.
Now, the Chevy Dealer Sports Report with Dan Lucy.
Christian County girls basketball will have a whole new look this fall. Today, Jim Middleton resigned as the Nixa girls coach. This comes just a few weeks after Yancey Little resigned at rival Ozark. Middleton will remain as the track coach and still teach PE and driver's ed. Middleton coached Nixa for 5 years, was 132 in those seasons. He also won the 2009 Class 5 state championship with a team that was 29-2. Nixa promoting Jennifer Perryman to take Middleton's job as the head coach. She has been the Nixa girls assistant coach for the past 9 seasons. Hammonds Field, very busy place today. 3 baseball games in the span of 9 hours. The Springfield Cardinals making up a rainout with a doubleheader, and Missouri State opened a weekend set with Wright State. The Bears looking to snap a 6-game losing streak. 1-0 Missouri State when the Bears would get more. Spencer Johnson shoots this over the right fielder's head and off the wall. Keenan Maddox scores 2-0. The Bears would get more in the third. Johnson again, the Parkview product with a blooper to right. Tate Matheny scores to make it 3-0. Wright State gets on the board in the fourth. Jeff Limbaugh singles to right, and Garrett Gray scores 3-1. But Nick Petrie in complete control. He would go the distance. 10 strikeouts and this nifty defensive play. He is 8-1 now. Bears snapped that losing streak 6-1. Sunday's Mother's Day, and we all count on Mom for a smile or a piece of advice or even a hug. But for minor league baseball players who play miles from home, that's a tough chore to come by. But as Color 10's Nick Carboni reports, the Springfield Cardinals have moms away from Mom.
You can always hear them. It doesn't matter, win, lose, up, down. They're always amazingly positive.
They come to every single game, so we know they're going to be there, and just adds that extra support.
In minor league baseball, where most players aren't millionaires and Mom can feel a million miles away, Hammonds Field offers a close alternative.
They don't have any family, and so we kind of become their family.
Joanne Bourbon, Vicky Cantrell, and a handful of others are always around down the right field line.
Their dedication to come to every single game is just, it's amazing to see.
Home and away, rain or shine.
They know we're here, and if they're playing in the rain, we're sitting in the rain.
It's almost become a rite of passage now to get a hug from Vicky before each game.
The hugs are just a symbol of caring and encouraging and being there when they need somebody.
And Joanne, she's never without her camera. She posts pictures to a Facebook page so players' families can feel like they're here.
It is dedicated to the moms and dads and aunts and uncles that can't make it to the games.
But the ladies' relationship with these players sometimes goes beyond just hugs and pictures. These minor league ball players who come around from all over the country to play in Springfield, sometimes they need a ride for the summer.
We call it the Beast, but she's been gracious enough to let me and a couple other guys drive it around.
Good day or bad, Vicky, Joanne, and the other moms are always there.
It doesn't matter. Getting 0 for 4 game, 0 for 5. If you went 5 for 5, they're still supporting you. They still want to give you a hug, and they still make it a special feeling to come and play in this ballpark.
And that feeling is mutual.
What do I get out of it? Just knowing that you're encouraging somebody, somebody who has a passion and dream for what they're doing. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but somebody's here when that happens. Have a good game.
At Hammonds Field with the moms, I'm Nick Carboni for Color 10 Sports.
That's Nick, the moms. Springfield, Northwest Arkansas playing a doubleheader at Hammonds today. First game, bottom of the second, Audrey Perez. Deep to left over the Cox sign and gone. A 2-run shot, 2-0 Springfield. Then in the third, Xavier Scruggs would single to left, and Tommy Phams comes in to score to make it a 3-0 Springfield lead. Naturals made it 3-2, but Pham would answer for Springfield. 2 on, and he launches this rocket to right. It's a 3-run home run. You get 3 hugs with that one. Cards win game 1 6-4, but in the nightcap, the Naturals win 5-4. St. Louis Cards open a weekend set with the Rockies. Chris Carpenter throwing before the game. St. Louis gets on the board second inning. Pete Cosma would single to right. John Jay comes in to score, and St. Louis had a 1-0 lead. Now the Cardinals would get more in the third inning. Carlos Beltran with a drive to right. This is his 9th home run of the season. That made it 2-0. It was 3-0 on a sac fly. Shelby Miller, Springfield class of 2011, gets Reed Brignac swinging right here, one of his 13 strikeouts on the night. Shelby pitched a complete game, 1-hit shutout. Cards win 3-0. Kansas City Yankees outscored the Royals 11-6. Drury beat St. Joe 9-3 in their tournament. St. Louis Blues and the Kings tied 1-1 in the second.
Very good, Dan. Thanks so much.
We'll be right back.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers. Color 10 News will continue in a moment.
We're actually running short on time. We've had a good week, had a lot of great stories here on Color 10 News. We want to say thanks as always for watching, everybody.
And we hope you enjoy your weekend and happy early Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day.